This committee was charged a week ago by none less than a person, by the Honorable Opposition Leader in the House of Parliament, who wish to know the operation under which Kingho mining operates.
Thursday, February 11, 2021, the Committee on Mines and Mineral Resources na the Salon Parliament been get as them guest the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Timothy Kaba, and the reason na for make Mr. Kabago explain to MP them clear one as to how the Chinese mining company Kingho don dey operate na Salon, and whose law wey give this company the power for ship iron ore wey Salon people them get out of the country wey Parliament no know how them been arranged for them. This came after we Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, the leader of the APC party in the Salon Parliament, Honorable Cherno Ramadan Majuba, raised serious concern them but the way and manner how the Chinese miner Kingho don't operate in a Salon, and we according to the leader of APC, the Kingho mining company ship this BNTM but 120,000 metric tons of iron ore under Anway, where Parliament no nobody's agreement.
There is no way we will ship iron ore without having an agreement ratified by this House. It should not happen, Mr. Speaker. Under what terms and conditions will they ship iron ore? We don't have any details. We don't know the quantity of tailings on the ground. We don't know the conditions under which they're going to take over. They have not mined a single ore, but yet still they've exported ore. On what conditions, Mr. Speaker? And if you go to section 40 of the Constitution, it is very, very clear, Mr. Speaker. And you will tie that with section 110, because there is no way they will have shipped this iron ore after having repaired the rail, which is also a property of the government of Sierra Leone. That rail also is the property of the government of Sierra Leone. So for them to use it, there might have been conditions, financial or otherwise. And 110 makes it very clear whether we're going to waive, we're going to impose, etc. Parliament must give it approval.
Now, inside this meeting with the Committee on Mines and Mineral Resources, all with the Minister of Mines, the Minister of Mines explain how this iron ore Kingho ship come about and within the ministry been do that same day.
Then Kingho discovered that there is a stockpile of iron ore on the pad. The pad here being the platform from which ore is loaded into ocean-moving vehicles. And there are also piles of iron ore in the wagons that were left behind by Shandong. But these wagons, these wagons are not a property of the government of Sierra Leone. These wagons belong to a third party that had rented these wagons to Shandong. When Kingho took over, Kingho had to rent these wagons from this third-party service provider. And then there were iron ore stockpile in these wagons as well. So Kingho said, government, here you've got some quantity of iron ore sitting at the port. We're going to start our operations in 2021, and we will have to use the pad and the pepper port for the exportation of our own product. In other words, we will want you to liberate the pad, bearing in mind that the rail and port is under the stewardship of Kingho. When that was brought to our attention, the National Minerals Agency conducted a qualitative and quantitative analysis of the stockpile that is at the Pepel port. Then the report came out that 120,000 metric tons of iron ore was sitting at the Pepel port.
From waiting the Minister of Mines, Timothy Kaba say, it clear say the iron ore na property of Salon people as the APC leader Honorable Babin don't say. But that na just one clarification as it been carry on for explain as to wait to make the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources not been bother for bring them agreement with them make with the Kingho mining company on behalf of Salon na Parliament this BNTM.
We reserve the right, I reserve the right as Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources to negotiate, to manage the natural resources of this country under the laws of the country. So the Mines and Minerals Act has it in section 48 that the enemy and the ministry can value a bulk commodity and determine market value of that commodity, and it can be sanctioned by the Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority and the Minister of Finance to put economic value on that particular asset because it's going to bring in revenue to the government. So we wrote to the Minister of Finance and sought out for concurrence, for financial implication. And then we also wrote to the Law Officers Department, to the Attorney General, and asked the Attorney General and Minister of Justice if there were any legal enmeshment or there were any legal metrics that we had to take. Both ministries gave no objection.
From within the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources say now that according to the Mines and Minerals Act of 2009 and Extractive Revenue Act of 2018, it no be need Parliament approval for sake of this agreement. It be just need for agree as minister and tell the National Revenue Authority NRA and the Minister of Finance and for make cabinets agree for this agreement, and he say that it been do. So Parliament not been get any business inside this business according to the law where the Minister of Mines quotes before MP them na this meeting. But the Member of Parliament for Constituency 32 na Bombali District, Honorable Mark Mahmoud Kaloko, not been agreed to waiting the Minister of Mines say as he been asked him question directly from section 40 subsection 4 of the Saloon 1991 Constitution, we give Parliament the power for agreements them with the President they make on behalf of Saloon people them before them all water.
Mr. Minister and the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, section 40 5 of this Constitution stated, provided that any treaty, agreement, or convention executed by or under the authority of the President, which relates to any matter within the legislative competence of Parliament, or which in any way alters the law of Sierra Leone or imposes any charge on or authorizes any expenditure out of the consolidated fund or any other fund of Sierra Leone, and any declaration of war made by the President shall, take note of the word shall, which is mandatory,
operational word,
shall be subject to the ratification by Parliament. If we have, through the efforts of your ministry, we have secured the rail belonging to the people of Sierra Leone, kudos. If you have entered into pricing with Kingho, and those documents we are taking to cabinet for approval, I want to know if short agreements, pricing agreements, the use of the railway, if short agreements we are before this house for ratification.
But this time around, the Minister of Mines try for balance this question with skill, as he been say not to lawyer, but in an engineer, and not go able for talk if this agreement for ship the iron ore been for don't come na Parliament or not.
I am a certified engineer, I'm not a lawyer, but we all have the privilege of reading the Constitution. I am not going to defend whether or not that agreement should come to Parliament, but I may want to also prefer my understanding of section 40, subsection 4. And I think I picked up where they said the context, that the executive may sign a treaty, an agreement, or a convention which will have bearing with expenditure. And within the same context, it talks about the declaration of a war. And I'll find it very difficult if the president will declare war on the people of this country. So the context is about external aggression, external engagement, external treaties and external convention. For instance, I'm a citizen and I have right to the Constitution.
Although he say he not to lawyer, the Minister of Mines been forget small but this confession and start for challenge and defend in action for sake of this agreement and this shipments where the Kingho mining do. But the Member of Parliament for constituency 93 in Moyamba district, Honorable Amadou Kanu, been check the Minister of Mines at this point and as so it been happen.
Mr. Chairman, let me observe. Mr. Minister, I'll advise that you reposition yourself not to take a confrontational position in interpreting the Constitution.
Thank you.
Thankfully, you've told us that you are not a constitutional lawyer. Even if you are a constitutional lawyer, some issues which has to do with legal related matters could be referred to us and when necessary to the necessary legal authority.
Thank you, sir. So my understanding, like the honorable member asked, if the agreement, if I took cognizance that the agreement did not come to Parliament, and as far as that particular agreement is concerned, it has no financial implication on the state, neither is it adversarial to any law as they exist. We have, like I said, the Mines and Minerals Act says if the NMA values a bulk commodity, that will be transmitted to the Commissioner General of the NRA and the Minister of Finance. We worked with them. We sought out for their concurrence. They told us they had no objection. When they indicated that they had no objection, we also contacted the Attorney General and his office. They also stated that there were no they had no objection to it. And we went to Cabinet and obtained Cabinet approval. May I say, if there is any requirement that that agreement should be brought to Parliament, I would be willing to do so, honorable members of Parliament.
As you hear, the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources try for defend a ministry action, not for bring the agreement na Parliament, but later surrender say if he be say pauper, if for bring this agreement na Parliament, then he go willing for do so. Different other MP them been asked different question them on this issue and make different contribution them to this meeting, and based on all waiting them talk, the chairman for the Mines and Minerals Committee at the Salon Parliament, Honorable Sir Emerson Lamina, make 3 ruling them. 1, for make the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Timothy Kaba, bring the mining lease agreement with the Kingho Mining Company get with the government of Salon na Parliament by March 1st, 2021. 2, that all the tax them where the Kingho Mining Company not only pay based on this mining lease agreement when a tax exemption for tap by March 15, 2021. And 3, that the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources for make sure say all them things happen as it be make this announcement inside this meeting.
Having listened very, very well today, honorable members and our fellow witnesses that have been around, in my capacity as a chairperson of this committee, having listened to all, and now we have come to the conclusion that the honorable minister and his team take notes. 3 rulings will be read out here today, and which we expect this ministry to adhere to. Number 1, with immediate effects, not later than Monday 1st March 2021, the mining lease agreement, otherwise known as MLA, of Kingho Mining Company Limited, should be submitted to the clerk's office in Parliament. Number 2, commencing 15th March 2021, an unratified mining lease agreement dictates a blanket put on hold of all tax exemption according to Kingho Mining Company In view of this, the Minister of Finance is hereby notified and ordered to fully execute order number 2. Number 3, that the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources must ensure that these orders are strictly carried out. The meeting is hereby adjourned sine die.
For Saloon Parliament Eye on Glad TV Online, Mina Abdullah Glad reports.